This question is the 2016 higher level, question 3a. It's an axonometric projection question. And for this question, it's a torch. So we are asked to draw the axonometric axis as shown. So I have those drawn here. That's 30 degrees, and vertical line through the center. And then these axes off up here on the right and left. To get this one off up here on the right, so it's at 15 degrees. So this is 15 degrees to the vertical. This is 15 degrees below horizontal. But if you don't have a protractor, or an easier way of doing this, which will help us later on, is using our two set squares together. So our 60-30 sitting down on top of the t-square, 60-degree angle here, and then the 45 degrees here gives us our 15 degrees. Again, turn this way, keeping the 60-30 where it is, and we get a line along here. So that's a 90-degree angle here, 15 degrees off vertical. Same thing for this side, except again 60 degrees just needs to be turned around. So the 60 plus the 45 gives us our angle, and here as well. So that's our two angles there for our axis. Part B of this question is to draw the given elevation inclined at 15 degrees as shown. So that's this one over here. Draw the given end view inclined at 15 degrees as shown. So that'll be this view off over here on the left. And then finally draw the completed axonometric projection of the torch. So joining the two, bringing them down into the center. So I'm going to start with the one on the top right, the elevation first. And just going to mark out a couple of distances out along here. So there's a 20, an 80, 25 and 12. So that's going that direction, and coming up along this way. Again, just marking out a couple of dimensions, 55, and so the total height we don't see in the view here on the right, but we do see it on the one on the left. So that's 65 and 25, so that's 90 for the top of the main part of the body, and then it's a further 25, which will be fairly tight on this page, for the handle up on top. So drawing these lines in just as much of them as we can anyway. So this line here is going to be a line up along this way. This one the same. So I can see here that everything fits on the page, so that's going to be a good benefit to me. So up on this side, I'm also going to find the center of our cylinder and our cones that are here on the front. So the center of that circle, or the cylinder, is 65 millimeters above the ground. Again, that's visible in the end view. So this is our central axis coming out along this way. And we're given distance above, distance below for that. So it's a radius of 38. It's 38 above, 38 below is the outer part. And the inner bit where it slopes down the top of the cone is a radius of 21. So that's also visible in the end view. And I marked that in the wrong spot. So let's draw that bit now on the front. Those 2 points there, and then this line joins to this one. And just darkening in the outline of the main body here now. Down to that point that was up 55, which is going to join diagonally to this point, which is in 20. Out across the base. And up here. Then next. That's pretty much most of the body, just the handle now that needs to be done. The handle is stepped back 10 millimeters and a further 10, so it's in 10 first, and then another 10 where it goes straight up. Has a thickness down off the top of 10 also. So I'm just getting those set up first before I start drawing everything in. 10 millimeters there, perpendicular. So again, you can use set squares this way or on the with the T-square. And then it's 50 back off of this point. So that gives us the point up on top. So I'm just going to darken in that much there so that we're clear what we have. Now what we need to do next is we're told there's a line here at 60 degrees coming from this point down along here. And then we'll find the same point in here. So there's 10 millimeters then between the two. So to get a line at 60 degrees may sound a little bit tricky, but if you don't want to use your protractor, that's fine. We can just do this way. So line this up, one line along here. 60 degree set square sitting down. So you're basically just using this as a T-square. Slide it over along here, and now this angle is at 60 degrees. So that angle there is 60 degrees. From here then we can measure in 10 millimeters. And again, we'll line this up, so it's lining up along this line here. From the point that we just marked there, that 10 mil, up to that line, and now across the top. So that completes the handle, and that then also completes the elevation. So drawing the end view now next. And what we need to do is we need to first find the distance in here. So this distance here is 50. We have that much, but we need to find out how far that we come in. That's based on where this the large circle, the cylinder here, is radius 38, where that touches off the side. So I'm going to do first is, if I just measure in 38 here off the bottom, that'll give me the center of it, and then I can do 25 either side of that to get that 50. Okay, because that is tangential basically to the side of it. So these two lines here, they're the 50, they're the body, and then this is the edge of our axis. We're going to measure up the height of 65. That'll give us the center there, and it's a radius of 38. So I can set our compass to 38. So down here to 38. Drawing in our circle here. And that is the front of the lens of the touch. Just going to find the point there in the center. So continuing on with the same line as what we've been doing so far, we need to find the handle, the inner circle here of where the kind of the cone is, what would be this point here and here. Find them. They're hidden detail, they're dotted lines, we can't see them. We need to find the top point of the block, so that's up a further 25 from the center of the circle. Again, hidden detail, can't see it, but it is there. So that is the main part of the block and the front part of the lens drawn. The next part that I'm going to do is the back part of the lens. So I'm going to jump in between things here a little bit. I'm going to do the back part of the lens. That has a radius of 21, as we saw earlier on and as given in the question. Radius 21 there, that's going to be hidden detail. So draw it as a line lightly first, and you can go over it with your pencil. And give it a hidden detail marking. So you can just come along then and very carefully put the hidden detail marking on this. Okay, next thing is this edge back here. So this edge is 55 millimeters above the ground, and it is an edge, so it's at the back. So as it's an edge, it's going to be something that we can't see, so it's going to be hidden detail. So we need to mark that. And then finally we're just going to draw the handles here up on top. So when we're looking in this way, we'll be able to see that large face of it, but then there'll also be hidden detail for the under part of the handle. So the width of the handle we're told is 18, so that's 9 either side of the center. And heights up of 10 and 20. Hidden detail again when it's behind the lens, then visible. And the same coming across this way, bit that's behind the lens is hidden detail, and a visible line up here. Now I just put a small error on this. I came up 20 here instead of 25, but this is up 25, which is important, otherwise these won't line up on the other side. Right, so that completes the part 1, 2 and 3, so the elevation drawn, end view drawn, the axis drawn. Now it's a matter of combining all of these to draw the axonometric view. So that's going to involve taking each point here, projecting them from this view and this view down into here. What I'm going to start off with is with the body. So I'm going to do the body first, and I'm going to label a number of points. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I'm going to find the same points just on the left side of the object here. If they're on the left, they're going to be on the right as well, so I'm just going to label them on one side. So this is 1 and 5, that point down there. That point coming across here is hidden detail, and then we've got 2 and 3 up on top. Each point is projected at 30 degrees down from its view, so from the elevation or the end view. So that's projecting point 3 down. If I do the same thing here, projecting point 3, it's going to come down along this way. That there is point 3 on the front side of the object. If I do the same thing now for point 2, if I continue that one down, it's point 2 coming down along this way. So coming from point 2 up here, they're going to cross that point there is point 2. Do the same thing now for point 1, so let's take point 1 down this way, and point 1 from the end view, this point down here is point 1, and point 5 the same, so point 5 projected from here down, that's point 5. That there's one part, we'll have 1 going to 2, 3 will come down to 4, and then 5 will join to 4 as well. So I need to locate point 4 now as well, so that's coming down this way. And point 4 from the elevation down this way, this is point 4. So 5 joins to 4, which joins to 3 then as a vertical line. Now I'm not going to darken in 3 to 2 or 1 to 2 just yet, because I don't know how much of that will be hidden behind the cone, so I'm just going to draw them in as light lines so that I know that there's something there. Again, vertical line. Finding the points at the back now is done the same way, so 2 and 3 here, same ones at the back. This point and this point here. One's is down at the front, this corner. We have the ones there, and 0.4 doesn't really matter, we can't see it. There won't be hidden detail in an axonometric view. So again, taking that off up there. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the handle and we're going to project that down. So we had 5 points there, going to take a few more here now. So we've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13. So a lot of points, maybe too many. Taking point 6 here, that's going to come down this way. The same points now again, I'm just going to do them on the left hand side. So this one is 6, 13, 10 and 9. So all of those 4 points, they're all on the top surface there, down low. The next one is our hidden detail, the next one up, that's 12 and 11. This one and this one, as we're looking in this way, 12 first, then 11, and then 7 and 8 up on top. So I brought 6 down, we can take 0.6 here. This gives us 0.6. Do the same thing for 13. And we already have the line that 13 is on. Brought it down, the same one as 6. 10 the same. And 9. Finding the upper points now, same idea, taking point 12. And let's bring point 12 down from the end view. So just take each point in turn. It's the best, safest way of doing this. Point 11. That's at the same height as the one is here, so that gives us 11. So I might just join some of these up. So 13 joins to 12. 12 joins to 11. Which joins to 10, 11 to 10 up here. Okay, doing the same thing now for the other points. The ones at the front are up higher, so taking point 7. 7 comes down along here. And again, 7 and 8. Point 7 and 8, the top points. They're projected down. Find the corresponding point here, which is this one. That's point 7. And point 8 here at the back. Brought that one, that's here. That's point 8. 8 joins to 7, which joins down to 9. And just a little bit here on the front, change in direction. Final part of this is the lines going back across this way. So again, taking the wider point, so we have 7 and 8 up here. Going to find the other 7 and 8 now, the ones on the other side of it, the ones that goes back further, coming down this way. So that's here, back to there. Same lines coming down from the elevation, and the bottom point down here then as well. And then just watch this, there's a little line here that we need to stick in as well. Okay, so final part of this, and it's a busy one I suppose. Like all of these questions, the circle, the cylinder, the cone, whatever it is inside in this part of it, this is obviously going to take the most amount of time. So just finish off this corner up here first. Okay, so finding the bit of the cylinder and the cone at the front. Going to start with the very outside of this, and to do that I'm going to divide this circle up here with our 60-30 degree set square. So I'm going to do this the same way that I was doing it a while ago for getting my 60 degree line over here. I'm going to use the smaller set square, the 45 degree set square, as my t-square, and just take lines 60-30 through the center. So the benefit of doing the 60-30 will be that these points will be vertically and horizontally in line with each other. So we'll only have half the number of points to move to find it in each spot. So that gives us a number of different points, and we can start with a gives us 11 points. We need to find those same 11 points, or 12 points up here. Benefit of this will be B and L, they're at the same distance below the center. C and K, same distance below the center, so it makes that a bit easier. The distance that C and K is below the center, E and I will be the same distance above it. So again, this is going to make things a little bit easier for us. So this distance from the center down to that line, and from K down to, or from center down to that line, we can transfer up here nice and easily. So taking your compass, going to do that next. So from center down to the line for CK, which is the same distance from the center up to a line joining EI. So they're going to be at the same height, here and here. Do the same thing for the next ones down. So that's why we're using 60-30, because I can transfer 8 heights just by measuring 2. So it makes things a little bit easier for us. So we got A down here at the bottom, B and L, C and K, D and J, E and I, F and H, and then finally G is up on top. So we're going to locate each of these points out here at the front, then find the same points back further in. So taking each point now in turn, projecting it from both the elevation and the plan, same as what we've done in the previous bits of this question. Taking point G from the elevation, point G from the in view, where they cross, that's the point. Doing the next thing for F, coming this way. This didn't go far enough. This gives us point F, point E, so work your way around. And as you know, as I'm bringing E, it's also bringing line I down, so that's going to make things a bit easier for us. So that one, D next. Point C. So C and B, they also line up with each other. So that's this point here. So that's that point D. A couple of points here. This is C, B, A and D now line up with each other, so I've already that line brought down. So again, another benefit of using the 60-30 degrees. This is point A. Point L, the line from E passes through that one, so where the L from up here intersects with the one from this view, which will be here. Then same for the next one up, K is on the same line as coming from F, so that's coming down this way. K is coming here. J is on the line coming from G, same point, coming down along this way. I need to extend that one further. And G, that's this one. J is on the same, sorry, found J, I and H. Now we haven't those two, so let's just project those down. I and J. This point and sorry, I and H. This point and this point. So that gives us a number of points that we're after plotting. We can now join all of these up and form our circular shape. So next we're going to find the points that are the same points just further back. So we're just going to have to take each point from up here now, just bring it back onto the back part of the cylinder. So again, project from 30 degrees down. We have some of the points, so we don't need to do all of them again. F and H, these are coming this way. So that's this one. And off over here. Those two. If we're to take the point G, that's this point. Do the same thing for E and I. Now I we can't see, so don't need to worry about that one. And E is on this line here. D and J, again we can't see J, it's hidden behind, but we can see D. C we can see this one, and B we can also just about see. It's transitioning from one to the other. So joining these points up, now we need to figure out where this disappears around the outside. So it's going to be halfway between these 2 points here. So it's going to continue a little bit further. There's a better way of where you take a 45-degree line out through that, but this way works fine. So that gives us the front part of that, gives us the cylinder. Now we just need the cone that's going to join from those points back down to the bit of the curves that are there. Again, this needs to be done the same way. 12 points on here. Now we don't need to find all 12 points because we won't be able to see most of them, but we still need to move some. So this question again involves doing the same thing that we've done already, just with the smaller circle and here as well. So that's done the exact same way. I'm going to just draw a line across the I to E line and the H to F line there, just to find some heights that I can measure off of. So from the center up to those lines that we just drew across, so that's a horizontal line, or a line joining where I cuts through this small circle and E cuts through that small circle. And then I'm going to transfer those heights up into the end view, sorry, the elevation, this is the end view. Up here, above and below, and same for the other line, so that's a line where this F cuts through. Okay, so taking the top point, projecting that down along this way, again finding the top point here, projecting that down. This is where it's getting tricky because we have a lot of lines on the page, so just again take your time, be careful with it. Point F, point F is this point here where that red line cuts through the circle. Bring the corresponding point F from up here down. And follow this down, that's this point. Same for the next line. That's where E is going to come from. Yep, that's here. Would be point D, so the very widest point there. From the middle point here. So as I said, take your time with these points, it is going to get messy. So I don't lose them, I'm darkening them in. So again, this is going to disappear behind before it hits point B. So if I just take a line here, 45 degrees through this, I'll find the exact point where that's happening. So it's going to be down here. It's going to be halfway between the 2 points that are here anyway. So whatever halfway of that is. Oh, 1 point. That's there, and then it's going to join as a straight line down to there. Same thing's going to happen up on the other side, so we found this point, we need to get over to here. That's where that one should disappear. So just darkening in a few more lines now around the outside. And that completes the 2016 higher level question, one of the longer questions on this topic. There's a lot going on inside it with the front of the cylinder, back of the cylinder, and then this part of the cone. There's a lot of lines inside here, so take your time to do each one individually, and you will get there eventually.